Digital Education Initiative by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University. Here is another lecture from subject VLSI Technology, and I am your faculty Sangeeta Mangesh from Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, JSS Academy of Technical Education, Noida. The topic for today's lecture is the process called photolithography. We have already completed different processes, like we have first fabricated or we have first formulated or made a single monolithic what you call a single crystal silicon wafer. Then we have seen epitaxial growth process, and we have studied the oxidation growth process. Now, let us check out what are the contents of this lecture include. Here I am going to give you the introduction of very important process, that is called photolithography, and we are going to study what are the photoresist which are being used for this particular process. We are not going to study the exact process in a whole, but just introductory parts and how this process is being carried out, that we are going to see. The instructional objectives, that means I expect you to know after this particular studying this particular lecture or studying this particular topic, you are expected to know what is the role of photolithography and what are the positive and negative photoresists are. So, let us go ahead. What exactly? Now, we have seen so many processes are taking place, so many layers. We have seen that epitaxial growth is being done. There are different what you call fabrication processes are involved whenever you are fabricating an integrated circuit. Now, every integrated circuit has limited or unlimited what you call components. You have lakhs and like millions of transistors available within a single chip. Now, to fabricate them, you have different processes being involved. Now, what is exactly happening, how those areas have been isolated, how those areas have been selected, and how selective tasks have been carried out within those specific areas. Now, this exactly is the need, or this exactly is the role which is played by the photolithography. Now, what exactly is the lithography means? It originates from Greek word, where photo means light and litho means stone, and graphy is writing. That means writing on a stone, and here since we are using light as a source for lighting that particular thing, we call it as a photolithography. The process is basically originated, or the term originated way back in 18th century, when it was basically used for the printing method with using ink and metal plate and paper. So, you were printing something, and for that whatever patterns were being used, that is basically initially first this particular process was introduced way back in 18th century. After that, when IC integrated circuits were being fabricated, the pattern was to be transferred onto the wafer, and this transfer of pattern onto the wafer, the task of pattern transfer onto the wafer was being done exactly or being done by the photolithography process, and there are multiple iterations or iterative what you call ways in which this particular process is being done. Each process, when is executed, the area selection or the specific area within which this process is being executed, that is done by photolithography. Thus, it is exactly being used to define and transfer the pattern in my IC fabrication step. Every step of IC fabrication involves photolithography to be carried out, so that the area can be earmarked. Here, analogous to your artist, you have slabs. Here we are using photomask. You have press. Here you are having exposure system. Ink, you have sensitive radiation. You have paper. Instead of paper, you are having silicon wafer, and the stencil what you use, and that job is being done by the resist. Now, these resists are different. Now, here this is the diagram which shows the importance of every stage, that is metallization where interconnects are being defined, chemical mechanical polishing, which area is to be polished, that earmarking, dielectric deposition, thermal processes which are being carried out for thin film depositions, ion implantation for specific using dopant profiles, etching the area if you want to remove the area from particular thing. Entire things involves photolithography. Without photolithography, you cannot have selection of the patterns, or the patterns cannot be transferred onto the wafer to carry out these particular tasks. So, when you carry out these particular tasks, you need to carry out photolithography and isolate those areas, earmark those areas, so that these individual processes can be executed. And this earmarking, this identification or pattern transfer task is done using masks, and those masks are first designed. So, all set of masks are first designed and then the fabrication process starts. There are EDA tools available and then only the masks are being designed. So, we will see one by one what exactly is the technique which is carrying out this particular pattern transfer of using photolithography. Now, in modern semiconductor manufacturing, you have photolithography and several stages of photolithography are being executed, as many as 7 to 40, or like if you have miniaturized what you call device and complex circuitry, you can have as many as 40 stages also involved as far as your photolithography is concerned. So, to carry out so many stages, so many manufacturing processes one by one, you need to isolate those areas, and to isolate those areas, to earmark those areas, to design or imprint those areas, you need to transfer the pattern onto the wafer, and that job is done by this particular. So, the technique through which the transfer is being done, we call it we call it as optical if you are using optical source. If you are using electron beam, then it is called as electron beam lithography, and if you are using X-ray source for transfer, then we call it as X-ray beam lithography. The central key issue is the pattern transfer is essential for any IC fabrication, and to transfer the pattern, the wafer first or the particular area must be coated with some photoresistive photosensitive material, and that material we call it as photoresist. Now, this photoresist is a photosensitive material, and this material first is coated, then what you do, you put a mask, whatever is the mask is, that will have patterns onto it, and the light beam is focused onto these. Wherever the light beam enters onto or reaches to this particular area, depending upon the positive or negative photoresist, the area will be either the photoresist coating will either become weak or strong, and your pattern will be transferred. Whatever pattern is available over here, this pattern will be, this is the pattern which will get transferred onto the wafer surface. Now, what are the exact processes which are involved? So, the processes which are involved as far as your photolithography is concerned or lithography is concerned, first you prepare the surface, then you apply photoresist onto it, but to ensure that photoresist properly gets stuck up onto the substrate, you first use photoresist coating, then you many times you use a primer also prior to photoresist. Then you apply photoresist, so that the uniform layer is being formed, then you soft bake it, so that there is proper adhesivity maintained. Once the alignment and other things are taken care of, it is exposed through the mask. Post exposure, again it is baked, then you etch away the unwanted portion, which we call it as a development, or as you develop your photographic film, same way here you remove the unwanted portion of the photoresist and you expose, and then you hard bake it, so that the other portion remains hard and the subsequent processes can be carried out. So, this is what is the stage overall steps which are involved in the photolithography. lithography process, we will see one by one each of those processes, each of these steps, and we will go ahead with entire proper study of photolithography process. So, let us see what exactly is happening over here. Just see, I told you here it is masking the film, then you are applying a photoresist, the area is exposed. See, this is the mask, this mask black portion is mask and the portion is exposed over here. So, light is falling on from the mask, light is falling onto this area. So, naturally this area the photoresist in this area got weakened because it was positive photoresist. Since it was weakened, when you etch it, when you put it in the developer solution, it got removed, you have this extra area. Now, you can remove the unwanted, and this is what is the area which is you have isolated for carrying out the subsequent process. Same thing is being shown over here. Just see, you are first cleaning the wafer. This is a general device, it is a P well, this is a trench, and this is the say this is basically you have a polysilicon layer. Now, here you have a gate oxide layer and a polysilicon layer. Now, let us see, first you have cleaned the wafer, then you have applied primer onto it, then you have applied photoresist onto it. This primer is applied just to ensure that the photoresist is getting like adhesivity of the photoresist get enhanced, and you have proper photoresist layer being formed onto the substrate. Then you expose it, you soft bake it to further have the proper linkages in the photoresist. Then you align the mask onto it. This is the mask, this is the transparent mask. Then it is exposed to the light beam. Now, light penetrates from the other areas. Here your mask is covered, here there is no penetration of the light. So, naturally photoresist from the other area will get weakened. When you develop that, automatically just see photoresist is available over here, rest of the area it got removed when you exposed the bake it, and here you are having PR, rest of the area got here. Since there was no penetration of the light beam was not exposure was not there to the light. So, post development your PR remains here, rest of the PR gets weakened and it gets eliminated post development. So, this is you will hard bake it and then further go for the pattern inspection and carry out this particular process. Now, you have two types of photoresist, I told you, one is known as positive photoresist and another one is known as negative photoresist. Now, positive photoresists are the ones which directly transfer the pattern available onto the mask. That means, those photoresists which directly whatever stencil has got same impression will be created onto the wafer, they get weakened, their crosslinks become weak, and they are basically made up of they have what you call, they are slightly expensive. Initially you were having only negative photoresist being used, but the what you call different properties which are obtained, as far as we are going to study the properties of photoresist, what outcome you want from the photolith. You want good resolution, whatever is on the mask same you want onto the wafer, and that property is very good exhibited by the positive photoresist, and therefore their adhesivity is very good, and that is why they are mostly used in the processes or IC fabrication. Please remember, the photoresist called positive photoresist will imprint the same thing which is available on the mask. The crosslinks of the photoresist will get weakened and it will dissolve when we are etching it or putting it in the development solution, whereas the negative photoresist will complement or create a complement of the mask onto the wafer and it will get hardened. The crosslinks become strong when you are exposing to the light. So, naturally when you the portion which is not exposed to the light will become weak and that will get dissolved in the developer solution. So, positive will create same replica, negative will create complement of the mask, and many times when you are creating complement you do not get that much good resolution, you do not get that much able to create the replica, and that is why mostly you go for the positive photoresist, but in some cases both positive as well as negative have been used. So, this is what we have studied. A positive resist is something which is when exposed, okay, when unexposed portion of the photoresist remains insoluble, exposed portion becomes soluble, and the examples are PMMA, SPR 220, MIR 701. Just to keep idea that what are the different names or what are the types of photoresist which are used. Negatives are one which become hard, their crosslinks become strong and they become insoluble in the developer solution when exposed to light. The unexposed portion is dissolved and the examples are COP, SU8 and HMDS, which are popularly being used. The composition of this photoresist is basically a polymer having crosslinks which are either becoming stronger or weaker when you are exposing to the light source. Secondly, you are having a solvent, then you are having a sensitizer which is deciding the property of reacting to the light. So, this is basically reactivity to the LIGHT, light. Okay. So, this is basically photosensitivity that is dependent on the sensitizer, and many times you add to isolate the mask you many times, or to isolate the layers you many times add some dyes, so that you can have, if you have multiple patterns being fabricated one by one, you have to isolate different layers or to isolate different PRs, you many times add the additives which are known as, okay, dyes or colorants many times. So, basically you have these 4 constituents which make a PR, okay, that is photoresist material. It is basically comprising of polymer and solvent and the sensitizer. So, these are the 3 elements which are making it. So, this is what is being shown over here. You have a substrate, okay. I will just clear everything, I will just erase all ink points and then I will, okay. Now, just see the substrate is being exposed over here. If it is a positive photoresist, the area which is exposed will become weak and it will get removed. Whereas, if you have a negative resist, the area which is exposed is becoming strong and that will be created, that pattern will be created. So, here you will get the complement of what you get over here. This is basically negative photoresist, this is the positive photoresist. So, you will get the idea. Now, what are the properties which are expected from this photoresist? The photoresist must give you exact replica, should be able to create exact replica with the same feature size of your mask. Whatever mask is, you can reduce by enhancing, focusing, all those techniques can be, scientific techniques can be used, but it should create exact replica. It should have good etching resistance, like unwanted portion when you want to keep that photoresist, and when you develop like weakened portion will get dissolved, the rest of the portion should have good etch resistance, so that it should not hamper the pattern which is being formed onto it. Then it should withstand other processes also subsequently which are being taken, like which are being happening or which are going to take place thereafter. So, that also is one of the good properties. Higher tolerance should be there for all the process conditions which are going to take place. Now, this property is very negative photoresists are not as good as, because the polymers which are available in that, they get they absorb the solvent, they get swollen up, and naturally the pattern transfer is not very efficient in that case. We have seen over here, just see this. Now, what happens is when you are exposing it, the solvent becomes over here, and what happens is this becomes swollen. When this gets swollen, the pattern is not exactly getting formed and pattern is not exactly formed, and that is why you have poor resolution. Then environmental safety also is there, because many of the solvents are not eco-friendly, and that is why negative photoresists are not very popular. Now, here we are going to study the masks also. Now, what are the different ways in which the masks are being created? You have got different ways in which the masks are being created. One of the thing is, cheapest thing is the soda lime glass. Now, soda lime glass will be used, and on that particular thing you are making this particular areas which are isolated, or which are defined areas through which you want the light to pass, and you are earmarking the areas, you are covering them with the coating. Now, this coating can be normal coating or you can have a chromium coating. Please understand the properties of the mask or the way in which the masks are being created, they are the most important things, or the creation of mask is one of the important step in your prior to going for the design of any integrated circuit, because unless and until you design all the set of masks at one go, you cannot progress or you cannot proceed for carrying out the fabrication. So, prior to fabrication, it is essential to define all the stages which are involved in the IC manufacturing or integrated circuit manufacturing, and for every stage you need to have the set of masks which are to be used for that particular process. Now, those masks can be either defined, okay, you can have coating, you can have transparent areas and non-transparent areas, that is opaque areas and this one. So, here you are designing the patterns through which this particular process is being done. You can have soda lime glass, which is the cheapest one, then you can have Fe2O3 or on soda lime glass, that is ferrous oxide you can have, and this will make the layer opaque and the patterns will be created onto this. Then you can have chromium, I told you it is slightly expensive. Fourthly, you can have quartz glass and chromium coating onto it. Now, better will be the coating, but like whatever the quality of coating will decide the pattern that is going to get transferred onto the wafer. Precise coating, precise design and precise precision with which the mask is being created, that is going to decide the transfer of pattern onto the wafer, and it is going to play crucial role as far as your photolithographic performance parameters are concerned. So, here I will take a minute and explain you, like we are going to study them in detail in the next this one, but let us first like evaluate some performance features or performance metrics involved in the photolithography process. The very first photographic performance metric is my resolution. Now, what is resolution? Resolution is ability to transfer the mask pattern onto the wafer. If it is suppose 65 nanometer process, and I can expand, I can reduce once the mask is being created. But then initially when the mask is being created, how efficiently I am able to transfer the same structure onto the wafer, what efficiency I am going to get when I am transferring the pattern onto the wafer, it becomes very complex, it becomes very important feature when I am going to have a nanometer scale devices where the channel lengths are of the order of 21 nanometers or less than. Now, you are having 7 nanometer FinFET. Now, for such nano scale devices, there has to be supreme precision, and you cannot have this kind of many times it is not advisable to go for mask also, always you cannot go for mask. Many times when you have e-beam lithography, you cannot directly write onto the wafer with the electron beam, just write just similar to what you write with the pen onto a paper. So, that also is the process which is being. So, mask plays a very important role when you consider the photolithographic process, because photo or light when is used to write the pattern onto the wafer, these masks are very handy, because they give you the idea or they give you the exact what you call ability to transfer the pattern onto the wafer. You can have two ways, you can have dark field masks, or you can have bright field masks. There are two categories. Okay. So, those depend upon, just like your positive and negative photoresist, here also masks can be either way created depending upon the type of photoresist you are going to use. You can use dark field mask. Now, see, same pattern can be created in either ways. You can transfer the pattern in through like whatever light is penetrating, If you are using positive photoresist, it will develop that particular area. If you want negative photoresist, you will make the opposite mask and complement the process that way also. You will make entire process, okay, and this one can be made bright, dark, and you can convert that into another one. So, you can have masks which are basically made up of glass or some thin film which is transparent, and areas are earmarked with those are made opaque and through which the light is being blocked. Entire set of mask preparation can be done ahead of your processing IC fabrication process, and there are EDA tools available. Many times you go ahead with the EDA tools, prepare all set of masks and then go for the fabrication process. Those can be directly written through your computerized technique, and all these form what you call masks can be directly created. Now, when you put or use these masks for pattern transfer, it is also essential to ensure that these masks are properly aligned with respect to your wafer. Any misalignment can hamper the resolution what we have seen. Because you want resolution, you want good throughput, or you want good efficiency, like whatever cost effective your method you want, and that is what we call it as throughput. And third one is in case of photolithography, like we will just I told you like initially itself, there are 3 performance metrics normally being considered as far as your photolithography process is concerned. One is your resolution, another is you might throughput or efficiency, okay, ROUGH throughput, okay, and third one I call it as, okay, depth of focus. We will see their meanings and other things, but just for time being I am just giving you why these are important. Resolution is the ability to transfer the same size of the create same replica on the pattern on the feature. Then throughput is the efficiency, cost benefit analysis if you carry out, and third one is the depth, like focusing, like it is similar to your photograph. When you focus the lens of the photograph, you ensure that your target or the like the target for which you need to take the photograph off, that is within your focus, and rest of the area is not, you need not have to go for like concerned about that. So, here also here is a focusing, or the light beam has to be exactly focused to ensure that the pattern is aptly transferred onto the wafer, and that is basically deciding the depth of focus. There is a typical that is heavily dependent upon the source of light or the wavelength of light which is being used, and the numerical aperture that is being used for the pattern transfer. But then we will go ahead with it, but let us check out what exactly. Now, here once the alignment is being ensured, so there are specific indentation marks done on the wafer through which the alignment is being done. Similarly, you have some reticles, vertical and horizontal lines made on the wafer before going for pattern transfer, so that exact composite masks are exactly aligned with each other and you do not have any misalignment as far as your masks are concerned. So, here is an example what I have given you to make your concept clear. Here is simple CMOS inverter where you are having a diffusion area. Please understand, here it is a diffusion area which is creating NMOS, here you are having PMOS. Both these MOSes are having the, what you call crossing of poly. This red is polysilicon which is basically connecting your gate. This is the gate, this is the gate area, okay. This is my N type, this is my P type, this is my gate, and this is my diffusion area being. So, for every stage which is involved, for a simple NMOS like CMOS inverter, you have first for N well, creation of N well being done. So, NMOS here and PMOS here I am saying. So, N well if you N well if you want to create, you will have this N well ke liye one, like for N well you will have one mask, then for P well you will have another mask. When you want, okay, you want trench isolation, you need another set of mask. Then you want N diffusion to be created for NMOS, okay. For NMOS, if you want to have N diffusion area to be created, you have this N diffusion, source and drain areas, diffusion mask you will create. This is for P diffusion, this is P diffusion area, you want to, so this is for N diffusion area, you have this mask. Then for polysilicon layer to be grown, you have another mask. Then for creating contact, you have another mask, and then for creating the metal contacts which are connected to VDD and ground, you will have another mask. So, for simple CMOS, you have 12 masks which are essentially needed. Then you can imagine for complicated integrated circuit, you can have hundreds of masks which are to be designed with acute precision or great precision, so that your device can be effectively replicated, or the same pattern can be replicated onto the wafer. I hope this example at least has given you idea regarding the importance of photolithography process and the pattern transfer onto the wafer and how it is being done. Exactly all the processes we will see one by one, featuring importance of each and every process, how that is being carried out, what are the important, like what are the precautions which are mandatory during those processes in the next lecture. So, if you are able to answer these questions, like if you are able to check out, like explain the role of photography, understand the importance of photolithography, understand the importance of pattern transfer using photoresist. If I am having a mask and I want a particular pattern, what photoresist I should go for, how I should go for designing of the mask, that concept if you are able to clarify here, it is you are given an example that this is the photoresist and you are exposing what pattern it will create or what kind of like photography. So, there can be examples which can be given you and you should be able to isolate what pattern will be transferred onto the wafer when you are using a positive photoresist or if you are using a negative photoresist. So, if you are able to identify the difference, how the pattern is being transferred, we can proceed ahead with the detailing of the photolithography process and different types of it. So, let us wind up over here. Goodbye, God bless, good luck. Thank you.